Argentina's president thinks the U.S. should further sanction the Venezuelan government by blocking the country's oil exports to the U.S. However, targeting Venezuela's oil industry is considered the most drastic action the U.S. could take, and it is likely to have severe consequences in both countries. Argentine President Mauricio Macri wants the U.S. to crack down further on the government of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro by blocking its oil imports. Macri told the Financial Times that such a draconian measure was warranted, given the Maduro government's anti-democratic actions and Venezuela's continued deterioration. "I think we should go to a full oil embargo," Macri said. "Things have gotten worse and worse. Now, it's really a painful situation. Poverty is going up every day, sanitary conditions are getting worse every day." Macri, whose center-right government has led an economic rebound in Argentina and whose party had a strong showing in late October midterm elections, has been a sharp critic of Venezuela and is the first Latin American leader to call for such an embargo on its oil exports. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro, speaks after his arrival at the Simon Bolivar Airport in La Guaira, Venezuela, October 7, 2017. Miraflores Palace handout via Reuters. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro at the Simon Bolivar Airport in La Guaira, October 7, 2017. Thomson Reuters. The U.S. sanctioned numerous Venezuelan officials this summer, including Maduro. Trump also hinted at a military option in Venezuela, which was received poorly in the region, but stopped short of blocking Venezuela's oil exports to the U.S. Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves and is the U.S.'s third-largest oil supplier, sending about 800,000 barrels of crude a day to U.S. refiners. It also gets about 95% of its export revenue from oil. Sanctioning Venezuela's oil sector is generally considered the most drastic action the U.S. could take, as it would harm not only the U.S. oil industry but also severely hinder Venezuela's ability to buy imported food and medicine and to pay bondholders. Macri didn't mention multilateral action against Venezuela's oil industry, but he said there was broad support in Latin America for U.S. doing it. "We have been talking about this many times with many people over the past month," he told the Financial Times. File photo: the logo of the Venezuelan state oil company PDVSA is seen next to a mural depicting Venezuela's late president Hugo Chavez at a gas station in Caracas, Venezuela, March 2, 2017. Reuters. Carlos Garcia Rollins. File photo: the logo of Venezuelan state oil company PDVSA next to a mural depicting late Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez at a gas station in Caracas, March 2, 2017. Thomson Reuters. Experts in the U.S. have warned against blocking Venezuela's oil because of the deleterious effects it would have, and U.S. lawmakers, particularly those from states on the Gulf of Mexico, where many refineries are based, have said such a move could raise domestic prices and damage the U.S. economy. Other legislators have called for a stronger U.S. line against Maduro. Florida Republican Senator Marco Rubio said this summer that you can expect that not every time Maduro does something outrageous, the White House will respond with additional sanctions. Florida Democratic Representative Bill Nelson wrote a letter this week urging Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin to continue sanctioning Venezuelan officials tied to wrongdoing and to target the country's state-owned oil company and to consider banning the import of Venezuelan crude to the United States until constitutional order has been restored. Despite Macri's assurances, there is reason to doubt such action by the U.S. would be well received in Latin America. In fact, it is exactly the kind of unilateral policy that isolated the U.S. from the region with regard to Cuba. Greg Weeks, a political science professor at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte and editor of the Latin Americanist academic journal, wrote Wednesday morning.